All right, everybody, welcome back. We are taking a deep dive today into something that really caught my eye.
Mm.
It's a proposal to, completely revamp
Oh, wow.
India's tax system.
Okay.
Have you heard about this?
I haven't heard about like a complete revamp, but I've heard about like proposals to
Yeah.
simplify it.
Yeah, this is a pretty radical idea.
Okay.
It's called a dual tax structure. And it
Yeah.
kind of got my economist brain all excited
Okay.
because, I'm always interested in ways to make things simpler and more efficient,
Right.
especially when it comes to taxes.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think anyone's ever said that taxes are exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
Like filing taxes is exciting, but
I mean, except for maybe
accountants,
accountants.
maybe.
Yeah.
So let's dive into this. So what we've got here is research
Okay.
that proposes this dual tax structure.
Okay.
And essentially it boils down to two main components.
Okay.
So the first one is a fixed 10% GST
Yep.
on everything.
Like on all goods and services?
Yeah, everything.
Okay.
And then the second part is like a separate sales tax.
Okay.
But this one's only for us regular folks,
Okay.
like the end consumers.
At the end of the supply chain.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And get this, the rates for that sales tax
Yeah.
could actually go negative.
Negative.
Yeah,
Wow, that's interesting.
right.
Yeah. How would that work?
I know, it's like mind-blowing.
Okay.
So let's start with that first piece, the fixed 10% GST.
Okay.
I mean, can you imagine?
I mean, it sounds simple.
It sounds so simple.
Yeah.
Much
right.
simpler than what we have now.
Because think about the current system.
Yeah.
We've got all these different rates for different goods and services.
It's a mess.
It's a nightmare for businesses to keep
Dude.
track of.
Yeah. It's a huge compliance burden for companies.
Yeah,
It's not just about the headache either.
right.
It's a drag on the economy.
Yeah, exactly. All that time and money spent trying to figure out the right tax rates
Right.
could be invested in growth.
Exactly.
With a fixed GST, though, things are transparent,
Yes.
predictable.
Yeah.
Businesses can plan better.
Make better investment decisions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's like the first big plus.
Okay.
Now let's talk about
Yeah.
these negative tax rates.
All right, break this down for me.
I know I'm still wrapping my head around it too.
Okay.
But so the idea is to use this end consumer sales tax strategically.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, for example, essential goods could have a negative rate,
Hmm.
which basically means they become cheaper.
So you're getting paid to buy groceries?
Well, not quite paid, but
Alright.
yeah, it's like a discount, a
Yeah.
pretty significant discount.
Right.
And the idea is this could incentivize people to make certain choices.
Okay.
Like, say you're thinking about getting solar panels.
Yeah.
If there's a negative tax rate on them,
Yeah.
suddenly they become much more affordable. And that could really boost the renewable energy sector.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But wouldn't businesses try to take advantage of these negative tax rates?
That's a great question. And I was just thinking about that. Like, what's to stop a business from, buying a bunch of solar panels and then, reselling them or
Right.
something like that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what if you've got a distributor who needs to buy a whole truckload of these things?
Right.
They're not the end consumer.
Exactly.
So should they get that negative tax rate?
Right. So one of the sources actually addresses that.
Okay.
They suggest using the existing UDM registration system.
Okay.
So businesses in the supply chain could just provide their UDM number when they're making a purchase.
Okay.
And if what they're buying, aligns with their business activities,
Mhm.
then they wouldn't be a subject to that end consumer tax.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like a way to verify that they're
Yeah,
actually
it's like a safeguard.
part of the supply chain.
Right. Right.
And not just trying to game the system.
Eggs.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
assuming we can figure all that out,
Yeah.
the logistics of how to actually implement this.
Right.
I mean, we can't just flip a switch
No,
and suddenly the whole tax system's different.
absolutely not.
So how do we make this happen?
So a phased implementation is key.
Okay,
We're talking serious analysis to make sure we set the rates right.
right.
Then we need legislation. We got to upgrade our IT infrastructure.
Yeah.
And probably most importantly, we need input from everyone involved.
Yeah.
Businesses, consumers, economists, everybody needs to have a say.
Yeah, we don't want to create more problems than we solve.
Exactly. This is a big change.
Yes.
We have to do it carefully.
So a carefully orchestrated dance
Exactly.
to minimize disruption
Right.
and ensure a smooth transition.
hopefully a smooth transition.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But for our listeners out there,
Yeah.
like, what's the bottom line here?
Well, I think this dual tax structure has the potential to be a real game changer.
Mm.
I mean, it could simplify taxes for businesses,
Yeah.
free up resources for investment and growth.
Yeah.
Plus, we could use those targeted incentives to make essential goods and services more accessible.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about.
There is.
But as we've been talking about, implementation is key.
Absolutely.
We got to get this right.
Yeah.
And that means really listening to all the stakeholders.
Couldn't agree more.
So for everyone listening out there, I want to leave you with a question to think about.
Okay.
If we had this simplified system with these potential shifts in prices,
Yeah.
how do you think your spending habits would change?
That's a good question.
Right.
Yeah.
What kind of opportunities or challenges do you see?
Something to ponder.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
It is.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.